The Warriors offseason couldn't have gotten off to a worse start. They missed out on Paul George, destroying their relationship with Klay in the process, causing him to run to a rival team in the conference for less money. They ended up waiving Chris Paul because they couldn't find a trade for him that they liked, allowing his $30 million salary slot to evaporate. What should have been a pivotal offseason for the Warriors in terms of continuing this dynasty is already in shambles, bruh. Who would have thought that a decade of spanking on a little brother Clippers would lead to them holding a grudge against the Warriors? That is so strong. They would have rather let their star free agent walk for nothing versus sending him to Golden State and receiving a Jonathan Kuminga package as compensation. That's a different level of pettiness right there. According to Tim Kawakami, the Warriors' longest tenured media reporter, Paul George wanted to come to the Warriors. He gave the Clippers strong indications that he wanted to be traded there. Steph and Draymond were both 100% on board with bringing in Paul George. The Warriors offered multiple trade packages that included Kuminga plus more. Every time the Warriors felt like they were close to getting the deal done, the Clippers would just raise the price again. To me, it sounds like the Clippers had no intentions of trading Paul George to the Warriors and only proposed ridiculous trades that they knew the Warriors would refuse. Unless Golden State was willing to get bent over to make it happen, Clippers never really had true intentions of trading PG to the Warriors, unless Golden State was thirsty enough to send a Godfather offer. In the end, the Clippers were willing to let Paul George walk for nothing versus helping Golden State. Look, I ain't gonna lie, this is super petty on the Clippers end, but I kind of understand to an extent. It's just like, look, the Warriors been bullying them dudes for 10 years. A decade of just bullying, just little bro, just getting bullied, just getting beat up on. We watched these dudes win 4 championships in your conference, playing in your division. They're a regional rival. Well, I mean, the Warriors are the Clippers' rival. The Clippers aren't the Warriors' rival. But you get what I mean. It's like, all right, to an extent, I understand. It's like, from the Clippers' end, they're thinking like, look, we came up short. We got this experiment going with Kawhi and Paul George. We literally traded OKC our entire future, but nothing to show for it. And then after 5 years of paying for this expensive team, we're gonna just trade them to the Warriors and watch this dude win a chip with Wardell, Steph, and Curry? I don't think so. So that's their mindset. They knew if you put Paul George next to Steph Curry, it's a chip, bro. Like, they knew that. And they were like, nah, we'd rather let Paul George walk for nothing than help y'all win another championship. And you know what? It's petty, but I kind of understand. But at the same time, this is why they're a poverty franchise. Because they had the chance to get Jonathan Kuminga, plus draft picks. Their plan was already set that they weren't giving Paul George that 4th-year max contract. And if that was their stance, and they knew he would walk if they didn't give it to him, why not get compensation out of it? And by the way, for those of y'all that was on my helmet for suggesting that the Warriors should trade Kuminga to get Paul George, apparently the Warriors thinking was aligned with mine, because they most definitely offered Jonathan Kuminga for Paul George. They offered Kuminga plus draft capital, plus salary filler. So for those of y'all that thought I was absolutely insane for even suggesting that the Warriors should give up Kuminga to get Paul George, I guess the Warriors are insane too, because they wanted to make that trade. The Clippers were just unserious. And if it wasn't for the Warriors putting belt to ass on the Clippers for the past decade, Paul George would be a Warrior right now, and Kuminga would be in LA. I wonder how Clippers fans feel about how this all transpired. I mean, y'all could have had a young up-and-coming player like Jonathan Kuminga, plus draft capital, and they chose to let Paul George walk out of pettiness. That's crazy, man. Paul George is off the table. In my opinion, he was the perfect complement to the Steph and Draymond core. He's a perfect fit on the court. Steph Curry and Draymond both signed off on acquiring him. Even though they knew that meant Klay would be gone, they still both signed off on it. Paul George actually wanted to come to the Warriors. He wanted to play with Steph. He wanted to play in the Bay. Most importantly, he wanted that 4th year on that max contract. They were willing to offer him that 4-year max contract the moment he opted in and got traded to him. All right, let's talk about Klay. I seen this coming. I had a feeling the way last season played out, this Klay negotiation was going to be a little ugly, but I didn't think it was going to be like this. So the Warriors couldn't prioritize Klay while they were pursuing Paul George, because if they have signed Klay first, they would have been hard capped and they would have been unable to trade for Paul George. So they needed to pursue Paul George first and then try to deal with Klay after. But Klay's a very prideful dude, and he took that as disrespect. Now, to an extent, I can see why he felt disrespected. To him, he's like, look, I'm a franchise legend. Why are y'all not taking care of me? And also, he knew while they're pursuing Paul George, if y'all are successful, that effectively means that I'm gone. And yeah, I can see how that can hurt. But come on, bruh. Klay, they offered you 2 years, $48 million. That's $24 million a season. That's more than any team is offering him right now. The reason why Klay's mad is because his market is not what he expected it to be. The Warriors actually offered him more money than anybody else. It's looking like the most he's going to get from other teams is anywhere from 13 to like 17. The Warriors offered him 24. Come on, bro. You felt offended that the Warriors, who have the most expensive roster in the league, who talent-wise is not good enough. I mean, they missed the playoffs 3 out of the last 5 years. They just lost in the play-in, in a huge part thanks to you going over 10. This roster is absolutely not good enough. And you're mad they didn't overpay you when the market clearly says that you're not worth as much as you think you are. And then after all that, after feeling shunned or disrespected or whatever, you run to a direct rival and take even less? Come on, bro. Like, that's so petty. Like, that's a lot of pride involved right there with that dude, bro. Like, that's a lot of ego. That's a lot of pride involved. And the Mavericks, I believe, are trying to get him in a sign and trade, and he's going to willingly leave for less money. It is what it is, man. Klay Thompson stamped in the bay. He's a franchise legend, all that. It's just disappointing on both ends how it ended. And for those of y'all that think that the Warriors should have just overpaid Klay just to bring him back, why? The team's not good enough. The roster's not good enough. This roster needs a lot of work to improve. And overpaying Klay just for nostalgia reasons, just for the sake of overpaying him, when the market says he's worth way less than what he's asking for them to just give in and just pay him just because and constrict their ability to improve the roster even more, it's ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous. So it is what it is. It looks like Klay's gone. By the time this video drops, I'm sure he'll already be signed with a different team. It sounds like the Mavericks are a front runner and they're trying to do a sign and trade with us. So in that sense, I mean, at least he won't leave for nothing. The Warriors can probably get a small piece back from the Mavs. They could probably get Josh Green. They could probably get Maxi Kleber. They could probably get Dante Exum, something like that. They're not gonna get a whole lot back for him, but just maybe like a piece or two. But hey, if Klay's leaving anyways, I'd take Josh Green. I'd take Maxi Kleber. So we'll see how it plays out. After failing to get Paul George, the Warriors couldn't find a trade that they'd like for Chris Paul, so they ended up waiving his $30 million contract. Bro. It's sad, dude. They really couldn't find a trade partner for Chris Paul, an expiring contract. They couldn't find nothing. That's crazy. And you know what? It's not like they had no offers on the table, because apparently the Bulls reportedly offered Zach LaVine to the Warriors for Chris Paul and Andrew Wiggins, and the Warriors declined. Honestly, I don't even know what to think about that one, because when you make that trade, you lose your point of attack defender on Wiggins, and then all of a sudden, your own ball defense looks really suspect if you make that trade. Who's the point of attack defender? Is it Kuminga? Is it GP2 who can't stay healthy? Things look real ugly defensively, but at the same time, the talent upgrade is undeniable. But it's just unfortunate, because now they don't have Chris Paul's $30 million salary to include in the trade. The Warriors got to figure out their next move, and I'm sure I'll be cooking up that trade machine real soon, so y'all stay tuned. But anyways, that's all I got for y'all. If you enjoyed the video, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. I'll holler at you on the next one. Peace.